I felt like super defeated because I knew growing up that I wanted to breastfeed and I wanted
Hmm.
to do that. So it was really heartbreaking when it was
Yeah.
hard. It hurt so
Oh,
bad. I had like raw nipples and bloody ones. It was tough. My lactation consultant was an older lady, so she knew just older techniques. She was trying to be helpful, but she said just whack it. And I was like,
whack,
you just want
whack.
me to, yeah, she said to just like fist him. And I was like, that is gonna be painful. She's
What?
like,
Like
yeah, she
right
said,
on the.
like above my chest. She said, just,
Did you try it, or were you like, no, I'm not
I
doing that?
did. And I was like, that hurts. I'm not doing that again.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
I'm joined by Leslie, aka Little Luna Sensory. Leslie lives in Kansas with her husband and two adorable sons. I met Leslie through her sensory page on Instagram, but we've connected on a much more deep level behind the scenes, and she's a fantastic person and mama. So Leslie is a former teacher turned stay-at-home mom, and she's passionate about sharing all the fun and creative little things she comes up with for her kids on social media. So, on today's episode, we're going to go through her I had no idea moments throughout parenthood so far. And then on next week's episode, we are going to go through her experiences with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. So definitely stay tuned for that one as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Leslie, how you doing today?
Good. And you?
I'm good. Very excited to have you on. And we met through Instagram, but like it's funny because I feel like I kind of know you already. But this is
Right.
our first time actually chatting, which
Me.
is it's kind of funny. And you have the cutest little boys. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. They're quite silly.
They're very cute. Well, let's just dive right into your pregnancy part. How did you find out you were pregnant? What were you feeling when you found out? Tell me a little bit about your experience the first time around.
So, with my first pregnancy, me and my husband had been trying and it just wasn't happening. And one day, we took a test because I was just not feeling well. And I was like, it's going to be it. And so I took the test and it came out positive. So, that was just a really happy moment for both of
Aw.
us. Yeah. So, that was exciting.
So you said you had been trying for a while?
Yeah. About a year.
Okay. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, we were close to like going to the doctors and like starting to really figure out what was going on, but it just
Yeah.
happened.
Oh, that's great. Was your husband like so excited then too?
Yeah.
Like, how did you tell him?
I think he found out because I left the pregnancy test in the bathroom because my parents were there and I was more scared of my parents finding out before my husband.
Oh, oh, that's
They had
so
come over
funny.
that weekend, yeah, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta hide it," and I completely forgot to hide
Oh,
it.
so it was just like sitting on the counter or something?
Yeah.
That's actually
So,
hilarious. Oh, that's so funny. So did he just like bring it to you or
yeah,
like,
he's like, "What
what
is
is
it?"
it?
Yeah. And I was like, "Wait, let me do something cute."
Oh, that's funny. And then what about the second time when you found out you were pregnant? Was that like planned? Was it
It was planned. We were trying again, but we weren't expecting it so soon just because it took so long with the first time around. So it was a little
right?
bit of a
Okay.
surprise. And this one caught my husband off guard for sure.
Oh, really? He was like,
Yeah, he
"Whoa, it
was like,
happened already." Did you tell him differently the second time around or
yes, I had bought like one of those Walmart plates that you can get for like 50 cents. And then with my Cricut, I had cut out baby number two coming soon. And I bought some
Oh,
like rice to fill up the plate so when he ate it, he would like look that the words were coming up. But he was being super suspicious, and I had the pregnancy test in my pocket because I wanted to like pull it out when he was done eating. And he was playing with me, and he's like, "What's in your pocket?" He pulled it out, and
oh,
he just like froze and held it. He's like, "Whoa." It
So
was still
funny.
very surprising. Yeah.
Okay, so with your pregnancies, what was your experience like? Did you enjoy pregnancy? Were they harder? Um, and then what's the difference between the first and the second?
So my first pregnancy was super easy. It was no morning sickness, nothing like uh, breakouts or no hair loss really. It was really easy flowing. I loved it.
Hmm.
But with my second, with Milo, it was way harder. I had morning sickness to the point where I had like the push dots, like when you like are throwing up so consistently that you have like these little red dots or like
Oh,
underneath your
wow.
eyes. Yeah, so it was that bad that I was just consistently sick all the time. I couldn't smell specific things that made me really sick again, and I got motion sickness super easy in the car.
Okay.
So that was just fun.
I I could relate with that actually. Yeah, I mean both mine were like that and it's just awful. Was it from
Yeah.
the very first trimester with him too?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's tough. It's so hard. So very different pregnancy experiences then. So what was your favorite part of each pregnancy?
The first one with Leo, since it was my first, it was just seeing my belly grow. Like that's crazy to me, and
Aw.
I'm still like amazed of like how much your body changes, and just
Oh
seeing
yeah.
like my body grow and do that, which was insane. And then with my second, I really loved just feeling him, like feeling him move
Mhm.
and like talking to him and then him moving, which is again really crazy that they interact with you even like in the belly.
Oh, totally. When you like push it around and
Yeah,
they
like
start
poke one
wiggling.
side. Yeah.
When I was so sick, that was like the best because it
Mhm.
just kind of, kept you going. You're like, all right, once you can finally feel the baby and like interact with it,
Mhm.
oh, it definitely helps once you get
Yeah.
to that point.
Right.
What surprised you the most throughout your pregnancies, good or bad?
I would say that I had no idea that I would personally be changing so much, like personality wise and just my body wise. I feel like motherhood or mother bear, I guess you could say, really kicked in fast for me. Then all that nesting came really early and natural.
So, as far as the births, when it was time, like, did you know it was time? Did you feel super prepared and ready for it?
With my first, I felt prepared. I felt like I had everything. I had packed my hospital bag super early.
Hmm.
I had like the nurses' thank you baggies and everything. But during my first, it was also like COVID time.
Oh, okay.
So it was also very scary because I didn't know what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. I just knew that I couldn't have my mom in the room with me, and it was just one person, which was, of course, my husband.
Did you take classes or anything? Or what was your kind of preparation for birth?
So for my first one with Leo, again, darn COVID. Can I say COVID?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I hope so.
With COVID,
Yeah.
everything was canceled. All the things were like they were trying to do it through Zoom, and I hopped on a couple ones, but it wasn't working. The Zoom thing, just no one really knew how to, I guess, use it or do it correctly. And I just ended up just, not doing it and just reading the books.
Was it like a hospital tour or was it like some kind of a class?
It was like a class, like of a
Okay.
breathing through the contractions and how to like involve your partner and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Darn COVID.
Yeah, I
Darn
know.
COVID.
It really did me one.
uh, did you know that you were in labor the first time, or did you kind of have any false labors or anything like that?
With my first one, I knew that I was going into labor. My water didn't break for either of them. They had to break it out at the hospital. But with my first one, I knew I wanted to labor at home as much as I could.
Hmm.
Um, and even after laboring, or at least I think I labored for a long time, it felt like a long time. We went to the hospital and they said, well, come back maybe in a couple hours. And I
Oh,
was like, oh my God, this hurts. So we went back home and they're like, just sleep it out. And I just remember waking up every like 5 minutes. So after like, I think it was like 5 hours later, I was like, okay, we gotta go back because it was starting like
wow.
to really, yeah, hurt.
So they had checked you and you weren't like far enough along or what?
Yeah, I wasn't far long enough for them to admit me.
Oh my gosh. I've heard
Yeah.
that a lot. And they're just like, "Oh, just go." And you're like, "I'm in pain."
Yeah. It's like, where do
That's
you want me to
wild.
go?
Yeah, seriously. Should I go back to my car and just like
Wait
hang
it
out
out.
there?
Yeah.
And and it can progress so quickly from what I've
Yeah.
heard. So like how do you know that you're not going to just go home and then have to turn right back around? That's just
Right.
crazy to me. Oh,
Hmm.
that's funny. Did you live far away from the hospital too
No,
or
we live pretty close,
Oh,
thank
that's good.
goodness. Yeah.
During your labor and delivery, what surprised you the most?
I had no idea that plans change so fast.
Yeah. Oh gosh. What kind of things happened?
So I had my birth plan written and everything, and I thought like, oh, especially with my first one. And again, I think it was like COVID stuff. They said like, oh, you can only have one person, and then they were like really teeter-tottering about like, oh, you can't have anybody. And I was like, well, I'm not doing
Oh
this
wow.
if I can't have anybody. I was like, I'll do it in the parking lot, but I'm not doing it by
Yeah,
myself.
wow.
So last minute they were like, okay, and they let my husband in, and the whole epidural thing, it was at night, or I guess mid-morning. Um,
Hmm.
and they were like, oh, you have to wait for the anesthesiologist because you have to call him or something. And I was like, I thought someone was here. Like, I didn't know they
Oh
would have to
yeah.
go home.
Oh wow. So how long did it take before you were able
Like an
to
hour. And then they
Oh my
said, oh, she'll be
gosh.
right out because she's sleeping. And I was like, well, I know she's sleeping, but
Oh
someone
my
get me help.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Did you like I know you said you had a birth plan. Did you have
Hmm.
to kind of go back on any of that then? Or was it more just like things that were out of your control, like you wanted an epidural but you couldn't get one right away type of thing?
I think it was just things that were out of my control that things changed. Yeah.
So what kind of challenges popped up during your birth?
During my first birth, they had told me that I had a low lying placenta, which at the moment I had no idea what that meant.
Hmm.
And they said that, again, it was just my placenta laying lower. So it was closer to like the opening of down there.
Did you find that out? Because I had the same thing on my second. Did you find out at like I can't remember, is it like the 20-week
Yeah,
ultrasound?
ultrasound.
Okay. And then had it moved?
A little bit. So like, so every time I went, it felt like it looked like it moved up a little bit. And my doctor had told me that if it was still lying pretty low, that I would have to have a C-section. And I was like, no. I really wanted to
Yeah.
try and push. And he said, well, if it's laying too low, well, we can't do it. And I said, okay. But at the end of it, he felt okay, which maybe wasn't a good idea. Because I ended up hemorrhaging.
Oh no. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So that's something else. But he let me push, and yeah.
Wow. Did you have to have like a blood transfusion then?
No, everything.
No, okay.
No.
They got you taken
Yeah.
care of with that. Oh my goodness. So what was that experience like?
That was scary after I woke up and learned everything.
Oh, so you like passed
I
out?
passed out.
Like, oh wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was quite scary just because, yeah, that's a whole story. Like my birthing process, like when I'm pushing, I had, with my first one, I wasn't feeling well, and I knew it wasn't like pregnancy well. It was like I'm sick, like I'm not feeling good. And my nurse, bless her heart, she did everything correctly and she was amazing. But I was eating ice chips the whole time. And when she kept taking my temperature, she was doing it through my mouth. And it didn't even
Oh,
hit me that, like, oh, it would be different.
yeah.
And she was like, no, everything's fine. Like, your temperature's fine. You're normal. And I was like, okay. And I just kept telling my husband, I was like, dude, I don't feel good. But that feeling went away like the second they were like, okay, it's time to, like, let's practice pushing. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that feeling went away real quick. And when I started to push, the doctor or my doctor just said something like, "Oh, check her." And they ended up checking, I guess, my temperature rectally, and that's when
Oh,
they
okay.
realized that I had a pretty high fever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like at 103 point something.
Oh my gosh.
And then Leo had pooped inside already. So they were like, okay, he needs to come out. And I just remember them taking Milo or Leo out and placing him on my chest. And I just grabbed him and I told my husband, I was like, grab him because he's falling. And he's like,
Oh,
what? And
wow.
I just felt like my body was just like loosely letting go. And then I don't remember much from there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How long were you out for?
For like 5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a long time.
Yeah, wow. Did they know what was going on?
No, and that's another thing that they didn't know. They thought that it was because of the hemorrhaging, that I was just like
Yeah.
passing out and trying to regain myself from that, which I think that's what it was. But I also had my epidural in, and they had given me like that little button to push when you need more. And I kept telling my doctor, like, hey, like something hurts. And he told my nurse, oh, just, give her another thing of epidural or whatever it was. And she said, I did. And he's like, no, do it again. So I
Oh,
don't know if it
wow.
was just like too much at one time or if it was the hemorrhaging. I never found out.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I can imagine for your husband too. He was like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
What's going
Oh, that had to be so scary. Oh
on?
my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah, and then for you too, waking up like 5 hours later.
And I was
Oh
like,
my
where am I?
gosh. Yeah, wow. Had they
Yeah.
moved you or were you like
I
still
was still in the same place. I was just worried of like
okay?
where my baby went. Yeah.
Yeah. And was everything okay with him? Like with the
No,
meconium and oh no, what
no,
happened?
they had told me that he had a fever, so he came out with a fever also.
Oh, okay.
And they had to do some like regular testing that they do, and they came out positive with staph infection.
Oh,
And
okay. Oh, wow.
they told us like, oh, he has to stay in the NICU for a little bit, and so he couldn't be in our room. And then they told us like, oh, just kidding. The test came back out negative for for staph infection. I was like, okay, great. So he can come back into my
What?
room. Yeah, it was
What?
very, very odd. And then again, they tested him and they said, oh no, it's positive again. And I said, oh, okay. I had no idea what was going on. I was out of it, my poor husband, and it was our first time. So we didn't know
Yeah.
like what questions to ask or like what what to even do. And so we were there for an extra 5 days due to
Wow.
all that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And was he in the NICU like the whole time or?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Holy
Yeah.
moly. Oh my gosh. But you were allowed to stay there too?
Yeah, they let us stay in my hospital room, and then they
Okay.
just did like an extended stay.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that had to have been so hard.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. And then recovering also from like the hemorrhaging, did that take a while to like feel?
Feel normal. I felt very dizzy, very light, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally. How long did that feeling last?
About 3 days.
Wow. Okay. And you were able to like go see him?
Yeah, they would let me like go nurse him in the NICU and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Wow, that's quite that's quite a first journey there.
Yeah,
Holy
that
cow.
was not fun.
With your second then, was there anything with that one that kind of surprised you or like any like unexpected challenges with that?
With my second, I felt like I was ready. He was past his due date. So I really was just like trying to get him out of there. But at the same time, I didn't want him to come out because it was the ending of the first time mom and the family of
Oh,
three kind of
totally.
thing. So I was like really struggling with that. With Milo, it was pretty easy. Everything went pretty well. He was coming out a little sunny side up, and
Okay.
my nurses just kind of flipped me around and were doing everything they could. And he came out a little sideways, but he came out fine.
Yeah. Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
So after the first experience, then were you like pretty
I
nervous
was
going
I
into
was
the
terrified. Yeah. I was like, am I going to be okay? What am I going to do? And everything felt so different because it went so well. Like I was able to have Milo on
Yeah.
my chest for like 15 minutes and I
Oh,
was able to
good.
nurse him right away and it was a lot smoother.
Did it feel like a little healing in a
Yeah.
in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a similar, like when your first is so crazy and
Hmm.
then, the second time anything feels better, right? Like after
Right.
what you went through the first time,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, okay, this is good."
Right.
So is there anything you wish you would have known beforehand before going into your first birth?
Yeah. That things just don't go as planned and I wish I would have known or prepared myself for that a little bit more mentally. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't I wasn't ready for that. I'm very much a planner and I mentally prepare myself for the way it's gonna go
Yeah,
and
that's so
and
hard.
when it doesn't, it bothers me so much.
Yeah. I could relate on that one. Yeah, I feel like with the first, I had a list
Hmm.
too of this is what I want. And
Yeah.
none of those things happened. If you're enjoying this episode so far, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get more episodes like this in the future. Okay, so bringing him home, obviously you had a little bit of a, rough go in the hospital. How did you feel leaving the hospital then and going into that postpartum stage life with a newborn?
At first, I was so relieved just because we've been there and I just wanted my baby and I wanted out. I
Yeah.
just wanted to go home and try to do it on my own. And with my second, again, I just wanted to leave, especially because I had Leo at home waiting for me. I just wanted to be home.
Did you kind of envision what it would look like having a newborn the first time?
Not really. I just knew that I wasn't gonna sleep very much.
Okay. So you were prepared for that much better than I was. I was shocked. I'm like, wait a minute. We're getting up every like 2 hours or so.
Yeah.
Why didn't I know this? Nobody told me this.
Right.
Rude. So you knew that at least.
Yeah.
How did it go then? Like, how was that experience with your first? Did things go pretty smoothly once you got him home?
Yeah, things went pretty well. He didn't go through any like the purple cry or
Wait, what's
he
purple
didn't
cry?
have when they like cry for hours on end and
Oh,
nothing
I never heard it called
soothes
that.
them. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's just
Wow.
it's just what they do. They just cry.
Oh my gosh. Is it
Yeah,
like
which was
colic type of thing?
they
Like
say that
colic?
it's different, or at least my
Oh,
hospital gave
really?
us a pamphlet and they said that that's separate, which again,
Wow.
thank goodness that didn't
See?
happen.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I have never heard of that before. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
purple
Google it
cry.
now. Purple cry. I'm gonna look it up.
Hmm. Yeah, he didn't have colic or anything. So he was a super calm baby. I think the only thing that was really hard and that really got to me was my breastfeeding. It hurt so
Oh,
bad. And
yeah.
yeah, I had like raw nipples and bloody ones. It was tough. I remember my lactation consultant was an older lady, so she knew the tricks of like just older techniques, and
Yes.
those hurt.
And that was in the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I similar with those
Hmm.
lactation consultants in the hospital. I don't want to diss them all, but oh, I did not have a good one out of either experience.
She was trying to be helpful, but she said, just whack it. And I was like,
Whack,
you just want me
whack,
to. Yeah, she said to just like fist them. And I was like, that is going to be painful. She's
what?
like,
Like
yeah. She
right
said,
on the.
like above my chest. She said, just.
Yeah. Did you try it, or were you like, no, I'm not
I
doing it?
did. And I was like, that hurts. I'm not doing that again.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
Did you end up getting anybody after the fact, like a home lactation consultant or
No,
anything?
there wasn't. And
No.
here where I'm at, they only have one. And
Oh,
it was
okay,
her. Yeah.
gotcha. Were you able to like figure it out at home, or was it a struggle? And
It was a struggle. It was painful. I was an overproducer
okay.
and it was really painful. Like I had, what is it called? I'm blanking. But like they would be like rock hard, not even like
Oh,
overnight. but just like in the day, like they would just fill up so quickly that I needed to
Oh, like clogged ducts?
pump. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, ouch.
And mastitis, that was,
Oh my
yes.
the worst thing ever. You get like fever and the most painful thing.
Yep,
Mastitis is horrible.
it's painful. I felt like super defeated because I knew growing up that I wanted to breastfeed and I wanted
hmm
to do that. So it was really heartbreaking when it was
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Were you able to like continue that journey?
Yeah. I ended up breastfeeding until he was, I think, 15 months, 16 months. So
Wow.
yeah.
And did it get easier over time?
Yeah. Over time, it got really easy.
Good. All right. So what unexpected challenges did you end up facing postpartum?
Yeah. The first time with postpartum, I really had a challenge with postpartum depression and anxiety. It was a
Okay.
big deal for me.
Yeah. And was that something that came on suddenly, or I mean, I know we're going to talk about it more in the next episode, but was
Hmm.
that something that like surprised you?
I knew it was a thing. I didn't know much about it. I thought it was just, you're kind of sad. Yeah, I didn't know it was a really big common thing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we'll get into that more on the next
Hmm.
episode too. Was there anything that you wish you would have known ahead of time? And this could be just like baby related or anything within those first like 3 months.
I wish I've known that postpartum was very real and that babies poop a lot.
Yes,
A lot.
so much.
Yeah. Their poop color really surprised me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially breastfed babies, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. How it's like that. I don't know if we should describe it on here. That yellowy,
Yeah.
mustardy, like, ooh,
Yes. The mustard. I was like, is this normal?
right. Do you remember how many diapers you went through initially? Like those
Oh my
first?
goodness.
I remember about 8 to 12 a day.
Yes. It was a lot.
A ton. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? I was not prepared. I was running out grabbing more newborn diapers. Like, we're out already. I thought we had a ton.
Right.
Nope.
I went through all the little like packets that they give you from like those gifts, the ones that come in with like
Yeah.
one diaper. So like I was like, where are the rest of the diapers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Get way more diapers than you need because we
Right.
go through a ton. So, how have you changed since becoming a mom? Like as a person, what kind of has changed about you?
I'm very much more aware of things. I've always been super cautious about like when you go to the store, like if someone's following you kind of thing. And now I feel like those senses, they're super active and I can notice just the smallest, tiniest things
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that,
totally. I have that too. I'm always like,
hmm, yeah, are you
my,
following me?
yeah. My husband's like, you're fine. And I'm like, I don't know. I carry pepper gel around with me everywhere.
Hmm. Right.
Like people are like, your keys are massive. What are you carrying? You're literally carrying a weapon. I'm like, well, I mean,
Yeah,
you never know. Like,
you never know.
and you got young kids. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, even when you park and you're like getting
Yes.
the kids in the car, I'm always just like, all right, who's around me?
My heart is beating to the max when I'm like putting the kids back in the car. I'm just like throwing them in there, closing the doors, and then I get them like in there, their car seats inside the
Yeah.
car.
It's
Yeah.
wild. I feel like it's such a different world now. What has been the most rewarding part of parenting for you so far?
Oh, getting to see them just grow. I know that's very common,
Yeah.
but just seeing them grow is so magical. Like you see their first steps, their smiles, their little
Yeah.
teeth. Milo's finally getting teeth.
Oh.
And he's a little late to the train, but yeah. Like
Is it the
he's getting
bottom
those.
two, the little
Yeah, he's getting the bottom two and the top two since he teeth so late.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because he's a year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
So
cute.
they're all coming in.
The gummy smile is like my favorite, but then also like when they have just those first
The
couple, it's
two,
so
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, we call them arrocitos in Spanish, like your little two rice grains.
Ah, yes. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, just watching them grow. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, is like you said, so magical. You know, you think about it and you're like, okay, that's going to be really cool. But then when it happens, it's just like, it's enough to bring you to tears. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I never was a crier before either. And now I'm
Uh,
like, I cry at everything. What is going
me too.
on? You too?
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I used to make fun of my mom because she'd be happy crying, you know? And I'm like, Mom, this is my teenage years, you know, I'm like, Mom, and I always make fun of her. And now I'm like, crap.
Just cry about everything. Yeah,
I guess it's just a mom thing. I was
it
just
must be.
bound to cry over everything,
Yeah,
good or bad, right?
yeah.
So, parenting, what has been the hardest part or most surprising part for you so far?
I had no idea that my car would be so dirty. Everything's so dirty.
Oh my gosh.
Everything's so
Yes.
messy. The shoes, the toys, the blankets, everything. I had bought those like little travel like vacuums that you keep in the car
Yeah.
because it drove me crazy and it doesn't do anything. Like I
No.
vacuum it and there's cookies in my kid's car seat from like
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yep. Does the vacuum actually work? Like, does
A
it?
little bit. Like it can pick up maybe like 5 M&Ms. That's about it.
Yes, same. So people, those are worthless because
Yeah.
I had the same experience. I bought those multiple times, did nothing. So now I have like a stick vacuum that I use, and
Yeah,
I'm just like,
me
the car
too.
ones just don't even work. It's just like, don't even bother. Unless, yeah, if anybody knows, let us know
A
because,
good one, right?
yeah, a good one, right? Because I have not had good luck either.
Me neither.
But yeah, and everything,
Yeah.
cars,
The
house.
house, the bathroom, everything. Like I clean up one side and then the next thing I know, the other side's dirty and then I clean up that side and that
Yes.
side is dirty again. It's
Yes. And it gets a little bit better when they get older. Like, I know yours are 2 and 1. My oldest is like, she's kind of becoming a neat freak, which is not
ooh.
expected because she was a kid that if she was left alone in her bedroom, she's
Mhm.
ripping out those clothes, tossing them everywhere. I had to do some crazy stuff just to keep her room intact. My spices, dumping them all out, like
Yeah.
just so messy. And it's so funny because now, as now just turned 5-year-old,
Mhm.
she's like picky about her bed. I'm like, what? She's like, Mom, I need to fix my bed.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been kind of cool to see that shift because she was like super messy, like didn't want to ever clean. And just like we kept working on it. And now she's like Miss Neat Freak. So
Nice.
but yes, very messy times for
Yeah.
sure. What resources have helped you throughout your parenting journey so far?
Very much social media. I feel like I've met a lot of moms. I've met you.
Yes.
And it's amazing what social media can do. I've
Mm-hmm.
had a small little village here, friends that have helped me through just coming and babysitting or
Oh,
letting me sleep.
wow. So like local friends you've met through,
Yeah.
so people you didn't even know before, like becoming a mom.
So like becoming a mom and just these mom groups that we've met and yeah, it's been
Wow. Has that been through like Facebook or Instagram or?
a lot has been through Instagram.
That's cool. So social media has helped a lot then.
Mhm.
Just like seeing other people's stories too, or
Yeah, seeing their stories, finding people that have just common life struggles with the postpartum depression. I know my Leo has trouble just sitting down. So just talking to another mom and her having the same situation helps just to talk through it and get different ideas from different moms. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, because there's a downside about social media, but it can
Mhm.
be such a good resource too,
Yes.
as long as you just kind of block out all the rest of that, which can be hard to do, especially initially as a new mom. But
Yes.
once you get to where you're like, all right, I'm just going to mute that person or just stop following them or whatever, and then find the people that are good on social media. So
Yes.
that's good. What challenges are you facing like right now in your current season of parenthood?
Very much my toddler season. A
Yes.
lot of hitting, biting, and just the behavior and not knowing, just trying to learn how to regulate myself, I think has been a challenge. Just because growing up, I was spanked. And I do not
Same.
want to
Yeah.
and I don't want to spank Leo. I feel terrible. And so just trying to work through that and trying to learn just a different approach from that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like you're learning just something that you were never taught.
Right.
And breaking those cycles. It is so hard. And you're learning it all while you're parenting.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So what is your favorite parenting tip or hack that you have? And you got your page, so like that's a hack and tip in and of itself. You've got some amazing content on there.
Thanks.
But do you have a favorite or a couple favorites?
Well, I've noticed to keep Leo busy, for him being a super hyperactive kiddo, is very much doing our activities outside when we can.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that has been a lifesaver. And my favorite thing to do is put yogurt in those pop-it things and then freeze it.
Yeah, they're like little yogurt bites.
Right. And then
I forgot about that.
He has to like pop them out all on his own, and that has saved me so much. Like, to just get myself a minute or do something while I run up and do this.
I need to do that again. I totally forgot about that. I've done it one time. Does he help with it too? Like, because you just put like one layer of it, right?
I do it with like a syringe. Like, I suck up the yogurt with a syringe and then I just dot him. Because if I do it, all of it, it turns into like a bar thing.
Yes.
Like
yeah. Okay. I think that's the way I had done it. That makes sense.
Yeah, so if you do it with like a syringe, then you can like pop them individually, and it takes some more time to do it.
Oh, I love that. I'm definitely going to do that. Great one. I knew you were going to have a good one.
That one's a winner.
All right, Leslie. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's been so fun.
Of course.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, we're going to be talking to you again on the next one about postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. So in the meantime, where can people find you? You're Little Luna Sensory, right?
Yes, on Instagram and sometimes on TikTok.
Oh, awesome. Okay, perfect. So follow you there. All right, friends, let us know what was your favorite part of the episode today. Leave us a comment below and let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this episode, I think you're really going to like this one too.